I have just started farming today Ren Gokutsu on Hell. Obviously, 70% win rate is not amazing. It's whatever, right? I haven't min-maxed it too much, but I think I'm comfortable enough to make a video kind of showing you the team I'm using. I just need to work on like upgrading their gear a little bit, making sure that they're, you know, ranked up and stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into it and I will show you exactly what I'm doing. So why this one is important is one, I think this is the hardest out of these 4 fights that all have the shells. But you get a lot of, you know, there's basically, once you could beat this guy on Hell, you have access to all of the shells in the game that I'm aware of, unless there's more hidden shells. I'm sure the Inferno ones are stronger because they could drop the 3 matrices. But as far as like base shells, you could get pretty much everything at this point. So this is the team that I'm using. I am using multiple elements on purpose here. He has this mechanic where it's like, as you use characters of the same element in a row, he'll start counterattacking. He seems to do it even if you're doing just like different elements. It seems maybe just to slow it down. Like it's keeping track of each element individually. And so like the 4th time Chiaki goes, because she's my fastest, it'll trigger his thing. So it does seem to be tracking the things individually, but it's kind of hard for me based off the wording to tell. But this is what I'm using here. Sorry, you can't really see that, can you? I'm using Chiaki the Echo. I'm using Dinah, Valerian, and Diting. So basically the way the fight's gonna work, right, is I have 2 characters that are designed just to help me go fast, keep me alive, and, you know, sorry, I have 1 character that's designed to keep me alive. Then I have 2 characters designed to help me go fast and boost damage. And then Diting is the only damage dealer here. I might change it up and do a different damage dealer or a second damage dealer, but she is a damage dealer in a sense because she debuffs, even though she doesn't do the output herself. It's pretty high. And then once you start getting rid of her and then Chiaki, now I don't have an attack up buff and I don't have a defense buff. So it actually feels like this is a team that I'm probably going to stick with. But basically what you do here, right? She debuffs, he attacks, and it only is going to work 70% of the time right now while I'm still working on stuff. But with how much damage he did, I might be able to get a shell or like another character here instead of my healer, basically, in order to just kill him a little bit faster. But I'm not, like, again, I just started farming this today, but I kind of like keeping the channel up to date every couple days with like what I'm doing using only free-to-play units. Plus, I don't even know if we got any of the corrosion on that. Bop. Yeah, so I think it takes 5 hits from Diting. It might take 4 if he gets like a good roll on some of his attacks. But either way, one thing I think would help a lot is slowing Valera down. She's also not particularly good with Chiaki the Echo. Boom, boom. So yeah, it's going to take at least another hit here. Because she wants to go like really, really slow. If she has a speed of like 4, like I think that would be totally fine. Because her ultimate would basically never end, right? Because it lasts until basically she has her 2nd turn. But you can see here, if I had more damage, I wouldn't need as much survival. But I found my rates going down actually quite a bit. And just surviving until Diting can ult a 2nd time has been good enough for me. So that's kind of how the fight goes. That's roughly what it does on auto. So let me show you what my characters I'm actually using are and kind of how they're built. So Diting, he is starting. He's probably my most built character right now. And of course, we don't have like triple, you know, max out matrices. You know, he's not done being built by any stretch, but we're now approaching that late game style of build for the character. So baseline, so he has about 4,000 attack, 200 speed, 60% crit, 264% crit damage. Really what I care about is the crit damage and the attack. The speed is kind of like an afterthought for him. Obviously, he's at 200 speed without a single piece of speed anything on him. There are some pretty good speed rolls on some of this stuff. You know, because you tend to just kind of filter out for that stuff. But basically, you know, I have him maxed out here on pretty much everything. I don't have that final 10% damage, which I would love to get, by the way. And I guess I haven't finished this here, but I really don't think I need to get that. I'm not super excited. His shell, we're just using White Fang. I might switch it up. I have been a big fan of Kenai, but I think I'm also going to grab a different matrix instead of Onslaught, or I'll run Kenai, Onslaught, and a 3rd one that it's the one you get from Aurora, but I haven't been able to farm Aurora efficiently yet. Chiaki, her whole thing is that she's fast. She's at 237. She's inherently not that fast at 114 speed. Like, that's fine. But some of my other characters are quite a bit faster. But pretty much everything we have here, you can see you don't have completed gear sets. It's basically stuff with high speed stats, right? 8 speed, 5 speed, 8 speed. Actually, I bet I have some things here that aren't like the highest speed rolls that I can get, right? This thing has 6 speed. So I could do some more rolls here to get better speed, but like these are relatively good rolls. I'm happy with these overall. And basically she gives everyone an attack up and then just make sure everyone gets more turns. Dinah here, everyone probably knows her. Basically what I have on her is she has almost no damage. Her damage is dog water because how I have her built up, but I need her to be faster than Diting, and then I need her to have the effect accuracy. Her whole goal is to trigger this as many times as possible, right? It's 4 hits, 60% damage to all enemies. It's baseline only 40% chance for the defense down. That's pretty bad. So, but you need to hit the defense down. Then, once they have the defense down, you only have a 25% to do the vulnerable. Then, if they already have vulnerable, you have a 30% chance to do the erosion. So, it is kind of like hard to get all these skills on. It's very much not guaranteed. So, even 150% is not particularly good. However, we are using the Jackal Guard here. I do have it awakened, so you basically get constant speed buffs and running speed here. She's not literally the fastest character that I have, but 214 is pretty reasonable. But look, she's at 214 with a 12 on the Swift Rush, and he's at 201, you know, so he has 14 less speed with 0 in Swift Rush. So you can tell that he definitely is more built than all the other characters. He just has good stuff. In Valera here, I actually do want to get rid of this. I don't think Gigabyte is necessarily particularly good on her, and the Wellspring Cure. The Wellspring Cure is good, but this kind of makes her take too many turns. The way her ultimate works, if you haven't used it before, is basically she does an aura, right? She goes to sleep, and then every single time someone takes a turn that's besides her, they will get a shield equal to 13%, I think, of 12% of her maximum HP, and they will get a random buff effect that lasts, I think, for 2 turns. It might just be 1 turn on the buff, I don't remember. But basically, the less turns she takes, the longer her ult is up, and that people just keep getting massive shields every time they take a turn. And it scales up for HP. So you just really want a bunch of HP and almost nothing else. I don't think you care about crit rate, effect accuracy, effect resistance. She's immune to control effects while she is in the Hazy Dream. And I think her speed is honestly too high. However, it's hard to, most of the gear I farmed is high speed gear. Like a lot of them will just have speed on them regardless, because I just tend to, well, this one doesn't, but I just tend to have gone for speed. So I think lowering her speed closer to the baseline of 111 is actually going to be a good thing. So these are the free-to-play units that I am using. Other characters I considered using. Gray is pretty good here for both dealing damage and also getting the crit rate buff, which is really good with the Ting. I might be I could replace Valerian with a well-built Gray to deal quite a bit more damage, while also getting the crit rate buff, which makes him deal more damage. So I think that would overall be good, but I don't have the gear for it yet right now. I'm definitely going with a slightly slower, more consistent approach. But yeah, this is my current state for clearing out. I now have access to every shell in the game. One of the first things I'm going to do next is I think I'm going to replace this Jackal on her. And I think my goal now is to get a double, basically go like a super all-in dragon here. He has a tiny ass head, by the way. I mean, maybe dragons all have tiny ass heads comparatively to their bodies. But look how thin it is. He looks funny. He looks like a chicken, I'll admit, but I mean, he's a cool chicken. But my goal is to get this on her, that way she could use her ultimate, and then I could kill in a 2-wave fight, for example, like Doki Doki. I could then use her ultimate to kill the entire wave, you know, basically, and then right away again, the second thing starts, I could use her ultimate again to give me a head start on that wave. So that's kind of what I'm farming for. But yeah, guys, that is the characters, that is the build, that's what I'm doing, this is how I use it. These are the units, and if you have anything stronger than them, it'll work just as good, maybe even faster, who knows. Anyway, that's all for this one. Much love, Purplatypus. I'll see you on the flip-flops. Bye! Watch the views go up. Content king, never down, always showing up, hitting milestones.